Anvartha. Anvartha means for Lord, all the names are true to His personality. For conditioned souls, they may or may not be true. Somebody may be named as Kovid. Kovida means one who is very brilliant, but he may be a fool number one. It's possible, like that. But when it comes to Lord, every name is perfectly, making sense. When we talk about Krishna, Aravindaksha, Madhava, what is the meaning of Madhava?
Ma means Lakshmi, Dhava means husband.
Very nice. Ma means Lakshmi, Dhava means husband. जो माँ के धवा है, मतलब Shiva, Madhava, Umadhava. So that's all. So here the Shanti mantras are recited for the purpose of desiring that peace for the reciter of or student of the Ishopanishad, whoever is studying, so that the person becomes peaceful to grasp the message of the Ishopanishad, meaning any Upanishad, one who is studying, like that. So that's the purpose. Okay. Then we began discussion of this. What happened?
There is an option to hide it.
Okay. Then we began the discussion about the Shanti mantra, first Shanti mantra. And the Shanti mantra is talking about that is complete, this is complete. This having come from that remains complete. Right? We talked about this. So what does that mean when we say that is complete? Yes, Mataji? Supreme Lord? Then further is complete. Yeah. That is complete means Supreme Lord is complete. What do we mean when we say this is complete? Oh, you like to answer together, huh? All of you. Just togetherness. Yeah, you raise the hand. That's the best. Yes. Who wants to tell? This is complete means what?
The material world is complete.
The material world is complete. Exactly. Right. Okay. So we yesterday discussed about that is complete, that particular aspect, right? So which feature of absolute truth is complete feature? Yes, who wants to tell? Yes, yes, yourself. Bhagavan feature is the complete, right? So now, can anyone tell me difference between Brahman feature, Paramatma feature and Bhagavan feature? Who can tell precisely? Yes. Yeah.
It's impersonal.
Yes.
That Paramatma is Sat or Chit, is a knowledge based on, and that Bhagavan Sat Chit Anand, Supreme Personality of God, he has formed.
Yeah. Sat Chit Anand, very nice. Sat feature, Sat Chit feature, and finally Sat Chit and Ananda feature. So when we say that Brahman has only Sat feature, what exactly is the meaning of that statement? It is only Sat feature. What does that mean?
So Prabhu, you gave a wonderful example in regards to the smell.
Yeah.
So Brahman is all about only smell. So it's not complete. And then, yeah. So you also gave another example of Paramatma where you can smell and see.
Correct.
And then the third one was more elaborate and distinct, which was
Touch and
the smell,
taste.
The smell, taste, touch, and see. So it was
Correct.
complete.
Yeah. Yes, yes.
So that's
So
basically a bhakta.
correct. Yes. So you quoted. Those are very good example. Yes. Let's even more precisely. So what you told is very proper, that these were the examples. But when I say Brahman has only Sat feature, what does that mean exactly?
Basic understanding about
Very nice. Basic understanding about absolute truth. So in that basic understanding also, what feature is being captured when we talk about Sat feature?
formless feature of the Lord.
Yes, formless feature, but that formless feature which is existing everywhere. Existence is the aspect. See, in Brahman, no, you only talk about existence. अगर आप ब्रह्मवादी को पूछोगे क्या है परम सत्य? तो बोलेंगे परम सत्य सर्वत्र है, बस सर्वत्र सत्ता है उसकी। सत्ता मतलब एग्जिस्टेंस। इसके आगे कुछ बोलो, अब कुछ तो बोलो उसके बारे में। जो सर्वत्र है, सत्ता है उसकी, वही है। वो कैसा दिखता है? कुछ नो एट्रीब्यूट्स, डोंट टॉक अबाउट एनी एट्रीब्यूट्स। वो आपको दिखता नहीं है एज पर देम रियली। तो सर्वत्र उसकी सत्ता है, वो दिखता नहीं है आंखों को। उसको प्रभु यू कांट स्मेल हिम, वो उसका स्मेल नहीं है, दिखता नहीं है, आप बात नहीं कर सकते उससे। तो फिर करना क्या है ऐसे परम सत्य से जिसको आप बात नहीं कर सकते? कुछ नहीं, कुछ नहीं, कुछ नहीं। हाँ, तो क्या हुआ है? एट द लेवल ऑफ ब्रह्मन, what they have recognized is only that bare minimum aspect, that is the existence which is everywhere. Just like we talked about that mountain example, you remember? Mountain is full of variety, but what that person saw from a distance? Only green lump, like that. So similarly, the Brahman aspect means you only talk about it exists, that's it. Can you pray to him? No, you can't pray to him. Does he hear us? No, there is no question of hearing anyone. It just exists everywhere. That's Brahman, like that. Now when you move one step ahead, Paramatma, so what feature comes in? What understanding comes in additionally? Yes, Chit feature comes in, but I am trying to, I am trying to make you understand what exactly it means. Sat gets added, Sat and Chit now. So what does that mean? Chit, Sat और Chit दोनों आ गया. As a form, very nice. अभी परमात्मा के लेवल पे पहली बार समझता है कि एब्सोल्यूट ट्रूथ हैज अ फॉर्म. एंड वेयर डज दैट एब्सोल्यूट ट्रूथ रिसाइड? In the heart. That absolute truth resides in the heart. At the level of Paramatma, this much you know. So when we say Chit, no, Mataji was saying Chit. So Chit is this knowledge, knowledge of form, knowledge that the Lord resides in my heart, and knowledge of also how, what is the only way to serve Paramatma? There is only one way you can serve Paramatma. और कुछ नहीं कर सकते उनके साथ आप. Like that. Yes, Prabhu. You can only meditate on him. बस, only meditate. शांताकारं भुजगशयनं पद्मनाभं सुरेशं विश्वाधारं गगनसदृशं मेघवर्णं शुभांगं लक्ष्मीकान्तं कमलनयनं योगिभिर्ध्यानगम्यं वंदे विष्णुं भवभयहरं सर्वलोकैकनाथम. तो वो शांत आकार जो है ना भगवान, उस पर मेडिटेट करना है. ऐसे आप बोलो परमात्मा को मुझे थोड़ी सेवा चाहिए, करूँ क्या आपकी? अरे क्या करोगे, तुम अंदर बैठे हो, वो थोड़ी ना बाहर आने वाले. लाइक दैट. सो एट द लेवल ऑफ परमात्मा यू कैन ओनली मेडिटेट एक्चुअली. यू कांट गो बियॉन्ड दैट. इफ यू वांट टू सर्व द लॉर्ड, देयर इज वन हाईएस्ट फीचर. That feature you can serve also. You can touch him, you can speak to him, you can embrace that Lord, you can serve him, you can. Which is that feature? The final feature? Bhagavan. So that's why then Bhagavan has all three features. What are these three features? All three, when we say Sat, Chit, Ananda. So previously, pertaining to Paramatma, we did not include Ananda feature. We did not include. Although when yogi is meditating on Paramatma, is he getting आनंद or not? What do you say? योगी परमात्मा पे ध्यान करते तो उनको आनंद मिल रहा है कि नहीं मिल रहा है? नहीं मिल रहा आनंद, तो क्यों ध्यान कर रहा है फिर वो बेचारा?
मिल रहा है लेकिन not to that extent.
Exactly, this is the point. He is getting happiness but not to the extent of service that is there in the Bhagavan feature. तो थोड़ा आनंद तो उधर भी है. सेम वे ब्रह्मन फीचर ऑल्सो, somebody is meditating on Brahman, थोड़ा आनंद उधर भी है. So slight little bit आनंद, like you have heard this term Brahmananda. They say Brahmananda. So if there was no happiness in Brahman, what do you mean by Brahmananda? But that happiness in front of Ananda of Paramatma, Paramatmananda, And then that compared to Bhakti-ananda, it is insignificant. It is insignificant, like that. Like Prabhupada would give example, if somebody fell from a, suppose somebody fell from a height and broke the leg, so now it's very painful, while walking, leg is paining very much. So that misery is there. So now as soon as the person comes to a position where the pain of the leg is gone, so then we see that the person feels some kind of relief, isn't it? The pain is gone. I am happy. Till now, these many days there was so much of pain. As soon as pain stops, then person first feeling is, I am happy. But is that really the happiness? It is actually what?
Relief.
It is relief. You were being troubled, like if I am beating somebody left, right, top, bottom, then I stop, then he says, I am happy now. It's not happiness actually. So at the level of Brahman, the joy is only of becoming free from the suffering. But the positive joy, Mike is doing a lot of lila, right? Okay, no problem. When I'm talking about Brahman, it goes off. Even the mic is not interested so much. When I talk about Paramatma and Bhagavan, it becomes, oh, okay, this is good. Like that. So, you see, the joy of Brahman is there. But that joy is not very much compared to Bhakti. So, Sat Chit Anand feature are talked about in a relative sense. You understand? Brahman is only Sat, not Chit and Anand, means not Chit and Anand as much as Paramatma or as much as Bhagavan. Same way, when we say Paramatma does not have, the Paramatma feature does not have this aspect of Ananda, it means not as much as Bhagavan feature. That. And then finally Bhagavan feature has all these aspects, Sat Chit Ananda, all right. So we quoted some example to explain this feature of Sat Chit and Ananda. So please tell what all examples we spoke. To explain this idea of Sat Chit Ananda or Brahman Paramatma Bhagavan, we quoted various examples, right? We discussed also right now some of those examples. What all examples we quoted?
Mountain.
Okay, mountain example was one where we talked about from a distance mountain looks like a lump. Then if you go little bit close, then you see the variety. And finally you can go on the top of the mountain, start dancing, eat nicely. We saw that. So mountain example, what more? Yes, Mataji.
The example of a samosa, so like when
The example of the food item, right? So what will be Brahman realization, Sat feature?
you just smell it.
You just smell it, that's it, not beyond anything. So what would be then further, Paramatma?
See it.
You see it, that's it. You can't do anything beyond saying.
And Bhagavan is you touch it and then you taste it.
Very nice. So this was one example. I gave one more example to explain.
A concert.
Concert, very nice. What is the Sat feature?
Like the person who doesn't know anything can just perceive the sound.
Yeah, if I ask that person what was going on inside,
Some sounds were coming.
sounds were coming, that's it. That is the most horrible description of a concert, right? That you say, kuch awaaz hai, some sound is coming, like that. Then further,
Like the person who has some idea what the music will be able to relish it.
Very
To a
nice.
certain extent. And the person who knows how to play the instruments and has complete idea about music will relish it.
Absolutely, very nice. So that's the concert example. So these are the examples. You have to remember the examples when you explain Sat Chit Ananda. Got it? So Sat Chit Ananda, these features, this is how you have to understand. So now Prabhupada goes ahead and further, now he explains, okay, that is complete. Now let's talk about this is complete also. And this is very interesting. How can you say material world is complete? Because there is so much of misery in the material world and everything. So let's see. Please read that paragraph 2. Prabhupada is speaking. The highlighted portion you can read.
The complete whole, the personality
Prabhu?
of Godhead,
Prabhu,
has
just leave
immense
that glass.
potencies,
I'll keep it here.
all of which are as complete as He is. Thus, this phenomenal world is also complete in itself. The 24 elements of which this material universe is a temporary manifestation are arranged to produce everything necessary for the maintenance and subsistence of this universe. No other unit in the universe need make an extraneous effort to try to maintain the universe.
Yeah. So now Prabhupada starts speaking about, because Lord is complete, so whatever comes from Him, that is also complete. Infinity se kuch aata hai, so that is also complete, infinity. So, when do you say that something is complete, especially pertaining to material world? You have heard material world being compared to a jail?
Yes.
You have heard? You have heard material world being compared to a hospital?
Yes.
Yes. Now you tell me, when will you say that a jail is complete?
When it is
This jail is complete. Yes? Who wants to tell? When do you say, अरे ये जेल तो बढ़िया है भाई, फर्स्ट क्लास जेल है, क्या उसमें बढ़िया खाना मिल रहा है? What is the complete jail?
So,
when the jail.
in this particular context, when it comes to a particular service, or let's say for example a department, if that particular department is serving the purpose,
Yes,
then that means it is complete.
exactly.
For example, when it comes to a jail,
Jail.
when the jail is serving the objective for which it has been developed or
Yeah.
made, it's
Yes.
complete.
Yes. What's that object?
That's basically giving the soul the self-realization on what's his actual identity.
Correct. Very nice. Very wonderful point you are bringing.
So,
When jail is complete, will we say that jail which is giving first class food, good place to stay there, TV in the cell, you can watch television, this is a perfect jail, like that. The jail's basic purpose is what? It should reform. Punish is also not the purpose. Reform is the purpose. Punish is the way. Punishment is the way by which we want to reform. So a jail is perfect where you are not only keeping the prisoners, inmates in a proper way, the hygiene is there, food and other things, but you are making sure that there is a perfect arrangement for them to reform and quit the jail. This is called a perfect jail. Same way hospital. What is a perfect hospital?
so the patient can cure,
Yeah.
and then he
Yes. Exactly. So what's a perfect hospital? The perfect hospital is where you get first class care, hygiene, food, and most importantly treatment by which you can quit. Otherwise, if imagine some hospital is there where everything is very nicely given, but they say please continue to stay here, we are also making good money, so is that a good hospital? It's not a good hospital. You also have to accomplish the purpose of the hospital. Same way with the jail. So this is the meaning of material world is complete. Meaning Lord has made perfect arrangement in this world so that you can survive, you can get your food, you can get your clothing, you can get your shelter, you can get your all elements, oxygen, everything. If someone wants to stay in the material world, whatever is needed to stay in the material world, has Lord provided or not? It is there. Everything is there, in fact. In fact, it is so well that one may wonder who has designed this universe. It is so perfect. As soon as suppose you walk in this hall and then you see that in this hall, suppose you walk in on your birthday. Mataji has birthday today. Whose birthday is that? Haribol Jai. Happy birthday, Mataji. Yes. So you walk in the room and you see that, there is a card, happy birthday. And then you see there is a cake, and you see there is arrangement being done, for you, so that you see that somebody has designed this. Do we walk in and say that, kuch nahi hai, this must have come by chance? Do we say such a thing in practical life? We say, as soon as we see such arrangement, we see, who must have done it? Who is that devotee who is closest to me? She must have done it. Like that. But when in the material world we see a perfect arrangement, then they want to say that it just came by chance. How is it possible? It's actually a perfect design that is made by the designer. You may not be able to see that designer, I mean to say. You can see design, but you can't see designer. But that doesn't mean, it is actually childish to think like that. When a toy car is running around and somebody is controlling with remote, a child may think like, a toy car is running automatically. That's child. One who is a wise man knows that there is someone controlling that. So similarly, actually it is very childish to think that this perfect arrangement in the world is coming just by chance. But actually one who is wise, he knows that this whole arrangement is being done by some designer, creator. I may not know about that creator. There is a way to know about that creator. This way. So, first feature of material world being complete is there is perfect arrangement that we can reside in this world and we can get food, we can get water, everything is there. But that is only 50% of completeness of material world. What should be the other 50%? We talked about the hospital. Hospital is giving good grade, very good food, first class infrastructure, everything. But is that a complete hospital? No. Treatment. So same way, when we talk about material world, there is this another aspect of its completeness, that if someone wants to quit this material world, there is a perfect arrangement for that also. That is called material world is a complete arrangement. It's not that you can only, as long as possible, you can stay in the material world, but if you want to quit it, there is also complete arrangement for that. So there are these processes of bhakti and all of them by which one is able to quit the material world also. And that is what Prabhupada is bringing up in these two paragraphs. Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Especially that point which you have mentioned about the birthday, and so we are basically trying to signal on Big Bang Theory,
Yeah.
which is very nice. So one thing that I want to clarify is,
Yeah.
you mentioned Satchitanand, so you gave Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagwan understanding.
You want to say in mic so that others also? Okay, no problem. Yeah, then.
So you gave an example of Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagwan examples. But now when we're talking about this earth is complete, and then you gave it 50%, it also has the feature of us believing, so that is also. So in that particular case, when Lord has made the Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagwan, isn't it that also complete too?
Yeah, exactly. So when we talk about Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagwan, are they the aspects which are complete in themselves? They are complete in themselves. We will not say that they are incomplete. See, the point is, it's actually one absolute truth. It is just being perceived by the perceiver. So these conceptions, they are perceiver's conception of that complete absolute truth. So absolute truth, like basically Brahman or Paramatma or Bhagwan, these are complete features of the absolute truth. But the point is, how much of that you are perceiving that complete absolute truth. So the perception aspect, where you only are talking about the feature of only existence or like that aspect is incomplete. We will never say that absolute truth is incomplete. We will say the understanding or the perception of a worshipper where he is perceiving that absolute truth only to this degree. That is incomplete. Yeah, but otherwise, it is Advaya Tattva. It is actually one single, Tattva, perspective. It's one single truth. But then you are seeing it only partial understanding of that. So Prabhu, completeness, incompleteness, it is spoken from the side of the perceiver. It's not spoken from the side of the truth. Got it?
So one is complete, but it is basically perceived in a different manner.
Yeah. Param Satya is complete, absolute truth, but it is being perceived in a limited sense. That's the issue. Yes. Like the person who is seeing at the mountain, he is seeing at that mountain, and on that mountain the people are there. But you are not seeing, no. You are only seeing the lump. So that is problem from whose side? Problem or whatever, perception. That is from the seer's side. That's the point. Okay? Nice question. Yes. So, when we talk about material world's completeness, see, this is the aspect. There has to be perfect arrangement if you want to stay in the material world, and if there is also perfect arrangement if you want to quit the material world. Both. So those who want to permanently stay in the material world, they are known as Nitya-Baddha. उसको तो बस इधर ही रहना है. तो भगवान बोलते रहो फिर इधर. That's why they are called Nitya-Baddha. This way. And those who want to quit the material world and attain Lord's abode, they are the people who are sadhakas. They become sadhana siddhas later. This way. And those who never fall in the material world, they are known as Nitya Siddhas. So Nitya Baddha, then those who are in the spiritual world, they are Nitya Siddha or Nitya Mukta, you could say. That term is also there. And in between are us who are sadhakas. When we attain spiritual world by our sadhana, then we become sadhana siddhas. Then the term differs. It's called sadhana siddha. This way. So sadhakas who are practicing, and when you accomplish the goal, then you become siddha. Sadhana siddha. That's the word. Yeah.
The question is, these sadhana siddhas.
My only concern is, are they able to hear the question?
Yes.
They can?
Yes.
Okay.
Sadhana siddhas, can anytime they achieve the stage of Nitya Siddhas?
Okay. What happens with sadhana siddhas once they go to the spiritual world? Well, after they go to the spiritual world, they will never fall. So they are actually like Nitya Siddha, but still they are never called Nitya Siddhas. They will always be called sadhana siddhas. Because Nitya Siddhas never fall only in the material world. And there is no question of falling in the material world, coming in the material world, or like that. So Nitya Siddhas are Nitya Siddhas, and by being sadhaka, when we attain spiritual world, then we become sadhana siddhas. But it's not that the Nitya Siddhas say, hey, this is sadhana siddha party. We are Nitya Siddhas. This is sadhana siddha. Sadhana siddha, no? Okay, you sit there. Not like that. Once you go in the spiritual world, they welcome. It's like everybody is most welcome. Wonderful that way. Yes.
Prabhu, I have this question that you said that Nitya Siddhas never come to this world, but our acharyas who have descended to this material world.
Yeah, good question.
So they are Nitya Siddhas,
Yeah.
but still they come like Rupa
Yes.
Goswami, all the Shat Goswamis and all. So how do we explain that?
Yeah, very nice. So Nitya Siddhas never come to the material world except the acharyas who come with Krishna's desire to deliver the conditioned souls and all that. So that would be an exception.
Yes.
That
and
would be an
they
exception.
also need a material life like Bhakti Vinod Thakur Maharaj
Yes,
ji, and
yes.
they all were grastas and all. So how do we explain what Leela are they trying to show us by leading this grasta life also, and they are
Correct.
into this material world also and all?
See, when the acharyas come to the material world and they also lead life like in a way materialistic people or like that. So that aspect is shown actually to give inspiration and confidence to a conditioned soul that I can also follow this path. Imagine a Nitya Siddha from top spiritual world and comes here, and as soon as the child is born, he is crying out, Krishna, Krishna, or like that. Then we as conditioned souls feel, oh what, meaning they are actually Nitya Siddha, what can we derive inspiration from them? So, if you have to give inspiration to the conditioned souls, then you take the role or you show as if you are also a conditioned soul, and you go through that journey so that the conditioned souls, they also see, oh actually, you see, he also became a devotee at the age of 40. So I can also certainly become. Acharya may manifest devotion at a certain age. Bhaktivinoda Thakur manifested his devotion at a certain age. He was Srila Prabhupada also, right? So then taking these inspirations, a conditioned soul can think, if they can do it, I can also do it. It is such a wonderful life like that. Of course, when we become sadhakas, soon we come to know that they are Nitya Siddhas, and that's how they are very, very special. But see, that context or that kind of life Lord puts in them, it is not happening by their karma. It is all happening by Krishna's desire. So Krishna puts them in that kind of life so that they become inspirations for the conditioned souls. So that's the purpose over there. Lord shows, you see, if this person, Acharya, is doing like this, like Bhaktivinoda Thakur, right? He had a schedule in which out of 24 hours, he would be engaged in Krishna service for 21 hours. I mean, even his sleep is service for that matter, but straight away, 21 hours engaged person, So, हम लोग सोचते हैं, if he can be engaged in 21 hours, at least I can do 2 hours seva, right? Isn't it? Is that inspiration not there? How accomplished Bhaktivinoda Thakur was. He was father of 10 children. Is there anyone who is having 10 children here? No one. But what he accomplished is mind-boggling. So many books. You see his schedule? His schedule is there in the book 7th Goswami. Extraordinary. So now, when you read that, naturally you feel inspired. So that's the purpose. Got it? Yes. All right. Lot of questions coming. Yes, quick.
Prabhuji, actually, Shashi Mataji, she is attending online from India. She is answering, Yashoda and Nanda Baba are Nitya Siddhas. Only to perform Leela, they will come. Just ask.
Are Yashoda and Nanda Baba Nitya Siddhas? 100%. No doubt about it. Yashoda Mai and Nanda Baba, they are Nitya Siddhas. And when they come in the material world, why do they come? They come as Lord's Parshadas. They come as Lord's associates. So Radharani also, Gopis also, Menkaya Bhyuva, Ashtasakhis, who are they? They are all Nitya Siddhas. They are Lord's own associates. But they all come for the purpose of only performing pastimes. So when Lord performs pastimes, different categories come there together. So one category that comes with Lord is Nitya Siddhas. Another category that comes is Sadhana Siddhas from prior life. पिछले जन्म में किसी ने साधना perfect कर ली, तो Lord gives him opportunity to come in this life in the Leela, and then after that he goes to the spiritual world. So you see, sometime later we can discuss that. But like Lord's Leela also, within Ras Leela, the sections of gopis came from various places. Rishichari gopis, Shrutichari gopis, Nitya Siddha gopis, and they were from different backgrounds, but they all came together for the Leela, because that's how Lord performs Leela. So anyway, so we'll come back to this topic of how material world is complete. So you got the completeness of material 2 aspects very clearly. What are the 2 aspects of material world's completeness? Yes.
To sustain and to leave.
Yeah, to sustain there is perfect arrangement, and to leave also there is perfect arrangement. Both are there, and that's called the perfect arrangement. Also, when you talk about perfection, perfect arrangement, this material world is complete. So you have to know the purpose, then only you can say it's complete arrangement. Like suppose, if I take this phone, and if I have to type a complete book on this phone, so I'm typing, then I can't go back to the previous page easily, right? So I can say, क्या third class design है, बेकार है, किसने बनाया phone? I can say that, right? Because this is, I can't write a book. I can't write a book. What is the use of this phone? What will you say? So a phone is not meant to write a book on that. If you want to write a book, what do you use?
Laptop.
You use a laptop. You use a laptop or you use a tab or something this way. So oftentimes you criticize something because you don't understand its purpose. So that's why sometimes people criticize material world, saying that, oh, this material world, why has God made like this? Why has God created suffering? Why is this? Why is that? You have seen people, atheists. So when they are condemning, they are not understanding the purpose of the material world. If only you knew the purpose of the material world, you will not find fault with the design of the material world. What is the purpose of material world? True purpose?
Go back to
To go back home, to transform, to reform and go back home, back to Godhead. So that's why, although Lord has made perfect arrangement in this world, but there is also, the design is made in such a way that He pushes you that you quit this material world. Just like we want to eat unlimited, but can we eat unlimited? तो कोई बोल सकता है ना, क्या डिजाइन बनाया बेकार, कैसा डिजाइन बनाया? मेरे को तो खाने हैं 10 गुलाब जामुन, 20, 40, लेकिन 10 डालने के बाद पेट बोलता है बस कर रहे तो मरेगा. राइट? सो यू कैन कंडेम गॉड नो फॉर द डिजाइन, दैट क्या है, कैसा डिजाइन बनाया है ये ऐसे. You know, somebody wants to enjoy unrestrictedly. Can you do that? You can't do that. You want to eat unrestrictedly. Can you do that? You can't do that. अब कोई लोग होते हैं उनको 6 महीना सोना रहता है. They want to sleep 6 months. When I was staying in the hostel in engineering, my room partner used to sleep non-stop 22 hours. उसका रिकॉर्ड था वो. आज सो गया ना, वो अगले दिन 22 घंटे बाद उठता था वो. Like that. तो वो 2 घंटा क्यों छोड़ा है उसने? उसमें खाने का सब, he would procure eating items. Like that. So now you imagine, you have to know that the purpose of this life, the purpose of material world, is not that you can unrestrictedly enjoy. Lord has purposely put some restriction so that you can understand there is something wrong here. I want to enjoy unlimitedly, but I cannot. So then the living entity questions, why is like this? Who am I? Why am I suffering? Why birth, old age, disease, death, right? Someone can say, अरे ये कैसा भगवान ने विश्व बनाया जिसमें हर एक को बूढ़ा होना पड़ता है, हर एक को रोग, हर एक को बूढ़ा. भगवान ने ठीक नहीं बनाया जगत को. People say also like this, right? Outside people. But when Lord made birth, old age, disease, death, has He mistaken in the design or not?
No.
Is it a mistake in design of Lord? No. You are saying no because you know the purpose of Lord's in creating this material world. So unless and until one knows the purpose of material world, one will not understand what actually perfection in design is. So that's why the Shastras begin with first you know the purpose of material world. Athato Brahma Jidnyasa. Once you understand the purpose, now everything will fall in place. Oh, now I understand why this material world is designed in such a way. Otherwise, if you think the purpose is the material enjoyment, then you will have so much of issue with the material world, right? You want to enjoy unlimitedly, but then the body has its capacity, isn't it? The resources are limited. One may want to enjoy a lot, but then for that you have to have resources. So for that you have to work hard. So by the time he works hard and gets the resources, his age of enjoyment is finished. ऐसा भी होता है, right? So body itself has a limited capacity to enjoy. I gave that eating example. You may have resources by which you can procure 2000 gulab jamuns, but body will not be able to eat it. So there is a limitation set forth by nature only. So all these aspects of limitations and all that, they are there from the angle because Lord wants us to understand the incompatibility of the material world. It is incompatible also. It is compatible in the sense it will nourish you, whatever food is needed it will give you, but it's also incompatible, so that you inquire, what beyond this world? Why is like this, right? What are the questions that Prabhupada says as a human being we should ask? हाँ? क्या प्रश्न पूछना चाहिए? बोलिए. As a human being, why am I suffering? Who am I? Why am I suffering? Then what? What is the purpose of life? Who is God? What is my relationship with God? How can I get out of this world? So in order to make these inquiries possible, that's why God has put some incompatibilities, incompleteness in the material world. नहीं तो फिर सब कुछ बढ़िया है तो वो तो inquire करेगा ही नहीं कुछ. Then the person can go on very peaceful in the material world. No, but Lord wants us to. So that's the perfect arrangement in material world. So you see, Prabhupada has used one very nice statement here, and you remember this statement, you memorize in fact. You see, all forms of incompleteness are experienced due to incomplete knowledge of the complete whole. A beautiful statement. Now you understand this statement? All forms of incompleteness are experienced due to incomplete knowledge of the complete. So I like all forms of incompleteness. I feel, what is the incompleteness? Why my body is having limited capacity? Incompleteness. Why I can't live eternally? Incompleteness. Why I have to get old? Incompleteness. All these incompleteness are due to incomplete knowledge of the complete. What is that incomplete knowledge? If somebody is questioning like this, why? So that you are understanding this concept. It's a very deep point that Prabhupada is making. All forms of incompleteness are experienced due to incomplete knowledge of the complete whole. So, if you have complete knowledge of the complete whole, will you ever feel any incompleteness? अगर आपको बढ़िया से इस जगत के पूर्णत्व के बारे में पता है, तो फिर आपको लगेगा कि अरे इस जगत में ये कमी है, वो कमी है, ये बेकार है, ये ठीक नहीं, वो ठीक नहीं, सब खराब है. ऐसा नहीं लगेगा, क्योंकि आप जानोगे कि अरे ये सब अरेंजमेंट इसलिए है कि चलो निकल चलो, राइट, लेट्स attain the spiritual world. So because people don't have that knowledge, so then we see they tend to criticize the material world. They say why there is so much of suffering, why limited capacity in the body, why limited resources, so many people, this, that. Why? Because you don't understand the purpose only. This way, like that. Like in a jail also, Prabhu, in a hospital also. Imagine if the jail is making such perfect arrangement for the inmates to stay there. They are not giving any hardship. तो आप बोलोगे क्या, अरे क्या बढ़िया जेल है, फर्स्ट क्लास जेल है भाई, हाँ इधर तो कुछ भी हार्डशिप नहीं है. तो that jail is defeating its purpose. This is my point, isn't it? It's defeating its purpose. So in our life also as a Vaishnavas, when the sufferings come and all that, we don't have to think like, oh, what's happening? No, you have to say that this is actually stark nature of the material world. भगवान मुझे दिखा रहे कि क्या है ये जगत. But he is showing us very little. Sometimes people have so much suffering than us, right? In material world it is amazing, no? See, everybody suffers, but still everybody feels that I alone am suffering in this world. देखो हर एक के जीवन में दुख है, तो भी आदमी को लगता है मेरे जैसा कोई दुख ही नहीं है. ऐसा और हर एक को लगता है ऐसा. आपको भी लगता है, मुझे भी लगता है, उसको भी लगता है, हर एक को लगता है मेरा ही दुख सबसे बड़ा है. It's like that, the feeling is there this way. But actually it is universal. Suffering is universal in this world. For some it is mental, for some it is physical, for some it is they don't have enough money, enough resources. Those who have enough money, they have enough tensions. So it's like suffering in different ways it comes this way. But the point is incomplete knowledge of the complete whole. So complete knowledge of the complete whole means we understand why God has created this material world. If this is understood, then we will not feel incompleteness in the material world. Is this point clear? Yeah, this is one of my, it is one of my most favorite statements that Prabhupada makes. Yeah. Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's such a wonderful understanding to all of us, as you mentioned.
Correct.
That whatever misery, problem comes in life, we can take it as perspective.
Yeah.
We are so relieved.
Exactly.
So relieved.
Exactly.
Right, Prabhuji?
Yes, sir.
Such a wonderful statement.
Yeah.
The way you explained this, actually, one line to example, you gave example. Now understanding this statement of Prabhupada is very easy. Very good.
Correct. So Prabhupada addresses both the aspects. The perfect arrangement to stay in this world, perfect arrangement to leave this world. That's completeness.
Incomplete knowledge of complete,
Mm.
that is what makes us actually to understand this incomplete.
Yeah, exactly. If you understand the complete purpose of the Lord, then you will not feel any incompleteness. This Hari Bol. So that's Prabhupada. So that's how Prabhupada has covered this point. So now you see, so material world is complete and Supreme Lord is also complete. So Adaha Purnam, Idam Purnam. Dono ho gaye Purna bhi. ठीक है. So now he elaborates further on that material world is complete, that how human form offers complete facility. So in order to accomplish the purpose of quitting the material world, Lord also gives you the human form of life, which gives us the complete ability to cross over this material world. So you can see here, he is speaking about this aspect in para 3 and 4, I think. Yeah. Yes, 3 and 4. Okay, who wants to read this? Para 3, highlighted portion. Read. Anyone? Read. You are all shy people.
All facilities are given to the small, complete unit, namely the
Oh, okay, we
living
read that. Sorry. I'm very sorry. You have to read the next line, the human form of life. Here, Prabhu. The human form.
The human form of life is a complete manifestation of the consciousness of the living being, and it is obtained after evolving through 8,400,000 species of life in the cycle of birth and death. If in this human life of full consciousness, the living entity does not realize his completeness in relation to the complete whole, he loses the chance to realize his completeness and is again put into the evolutionary cycle by the law of material nature.
Thank you, bro. So you see, human form of life is which consciousness? You know, there are 5 types of consciousness. You have heard of this? 5 types of consciousness. There is Samvrita, Avruta, Mukulita, Vikasita, Purna Vikasita. These 5 types of consciousness. Humans are considered to be Purna Vikasita, completely developed consciousness. So now this completely developed consciousness, why is this given for the human beings? Is it given to enjoy eating, sleeping, mating and defending in extraordinary ways? Or is it given for some other purpose? The human form of life, which is fully developed form, for what purpose it is given? Yes, anyone? Yes, Prabhu.
To know about who is God.
To know about who is God, right? Ahara didra bhayamaithunam cha samanyam etat pashubhe naranam dharmo hitesham adhiko vishesho dharme nahina pashubhe samana. Hitopadesh. 4 things are common between men or humans and animals. What are they? Ahara, then nidra, bhaya, maithuna. Eating, sleeping, mating and defending. But what is the uniqueness of human being? Vishesh dharma. They can know the dharma, they can study dharma, they can practice dharma. So if that inquiry is not there, then what will be the humans? They will be as good as animals, like that. Prabhupada says they will be polished animals, but they will be animals only. Polished animals, right? 4-legged animals, polished animals, like that. Like, a dog may eat a certain kind of food, but then we may have cuisines, various kinds of Mexican, continental, this, that, all. stuff, and we may make varieties of foodstuffs and all. Of course, for devotees, I'm not talking about devotees. Devotees make this for the pleasure of the Lord and then they eat prasad. That's a different thing. I'm talking in general as a materialistic person. The basic pleasure is eating. It's just that we may make varieties. So that's with all the aspects of sleeping and all other aspects. But unless and until human beings inquire about that dharma, then they are said to be like four-legged or polished animals. So the purpose of human form of life, Prabhu, Madhav, yeah. So the purpose of human form of life is actually to inquire more about, dharma and all. So that aspect of developed human consciousness is given to accomplish the purpose of quitting from the material world. We talked about material world's completeness in two fashions. One is to stay here nicely. Second is to quit the material world. So as far as staying here nicely, even animals can stay. They also stay. They have eating, sleep. But humans, if they only get engaged in अच्छा खाना पीना रखो बस, sometimes people say, right, मेरे जीवन का लक्ष्य तो भाई बढ़िया खाओ पियो एकदम, that's it. ऐश करो, right? Yes, खाओ पियो मजा करो. These are charvaks. These are modern charvaks. चारवाक ने भी ऐसा ही बोला ना, ऋणम कृत्वा घृतम पिबेत. देखो लोन ले लो लेकिन घी में खाओ. ऋणम कृत्वा घृतम यावत जीवेत सुखम जीवेत. जब तक जी रहे हो तब तक सुख चैन से जियो. भस्मीभूतस्य देह से, एक बार देह भस्म बन गया तो कुतः पुनरागमनो भवेत. कौन वापस आने वाला है? दिस इज चारवाक. इसलिए उसको नास्तिक बोलते हैं. ही इज अ नास्तिका. ही डज नॉट बिलीव इन सोल. चारवाक डज नॉट बिलीव इन सोल. दिस वे. Five consciousness, yeah. See, samvrita, avrita, mukulita. So, samvrita, should I write? Okay, I'll write. Okay, I was thinking that only. I am a bull in a china shop, they say. Very clumsy. Just put some cloth, yeah. Or okay, I will write here, Prabhu. Okay, bro. Here, you see my samvrita, avrita, mukulita, vikasita. English? Okay. Take care. English. इसको बढ़ा नहीं सकता मैं ना. ठीक है, आगे हो गया ये? नहीं. You give me the marker, bro. See, samvrita, avrita, third is mukulita, fourth is vikasita, and fifth one is Purna Vikasita. Yeah. Okay. So Samvrita is something which is a very extremely covered consciousness. Samvrita. Extremely covered. So that refers to trees. Consciousness of the trees, which is extremely covered, right? The trees consciousness is very covered. They are conscious, but they are very covered. Like they don't feel the pain like we feel. That much pain they don't feel. So that's why even when human beings have to consume, they are told to consume the trees, plants, because the pain they feel is minimal. They also have some pain that is there, but then still it is least. Samvrita. Then there are next avrita, covered consciousness. These are the animals, covered. This is like dead covered or very much covered, but avrita is covered consciousness. So who are they? These are the animals. Animals also have consciousness, right? There is Christian philosophy where they say, initially they began with this theory that animals don't have consciousness, only humans have consciousness. They began with this idea. Later then, so that's why later then they reformed and said, no, animals also have consciousness, right? So in Vedas, right from beginning, Jalaja Navalakshani, Sthavara Laksha Vimshati, all that. So this is Avrut. Mukulita is human beings, Mukulita, budding consciousness. So this is human being now. Human being which is not necessarily enlightened, but a human being comes in, a general human being comes in Mukulit, budding consciousness. Vikasita is when one takes to the spiritual life. One takes to the path of spiritual life, karma, jnana, yoga, that kind of path. So then one starts becoming developed in one's consciousness, isn't it? You understand difference between Mukulit and Vikasit? What is the difference? Budding and developed में क्या difference है? कौन बताएगा? समझ रहे हैं आपको? Yes.
Budding is something which is in progress, and spiritual life, it is taken up.
Correct.
Started.
So Mukulit person, is he expected to take up spiritual life at that level?
No.
No, that's the difference. You understand? This is only general human being without in touch with material, without in touch with spiritual life. But Vikasit is where one takes up the path, like that. And he starts exploring spiritual life, practicing spiritual. And finally, who is Purna Vikasita? He is the person who has accomplished his path of transcendence. So that means a liberated jnani or a liberated bhakta. No, these are conditioned souls. Yeah. See, Nityamuktas are always Purna Vikasit, but like for them, we don't talk about even development. Na? They are already developed. So this we are talking about living entities in material world. Consciousness in material world. So Vikasit और पूर्ण विकसित में क्या अंतर है? समझे आप? कौन बताएगा? विकसित और पूर्ण विकसित में क्या अंतर है, माताजी?
Viksit spiritual they are still exploring the spirituality in their life. The humans who are exploring the spirituality in their life. Or Purna Viksit mein who have already attained the spirituality in their life and who have become like the
liberated souls. Yes. See, Purna Vikasit is they have accomplished the perfection of the path already. Vikasit are the ones who are, yes, they are practicing yet, and they have started leading a life of dharma. Like a karma kandi. Where will karma kandi fall in this? Good question. The path of karma kand, one who knows, okay, if I have to accomplish some material desire, I should do a yagya for Indra, I should do yagya for Chandra. तो ये कौन सी कैटेगरी में आएगा इसमें? विकसित कैटेगरी है वो, द पर्सन. शुद्ध भक्त कौन सी कैटेगरी में आएगा? पूर्ण विकसित. हिटलर कौन सी कैटेगरी में आएगा? लाइक दैट. somebody will say samvrita. Right. Deadly. Yeah, so any human being general will be in Mukulit. It's a budding consciousness, like that. Avruta and all of them, you understand. So that's how it is. Okay, fine. So you understand that. So this is it. we were talking about how the human life gives that perfect arrangement. So that's why somebody does not utilize human form of life, that's the greatest loss. Like that, isn't it? That's the greatest loss. This way. And finally, Prabhupada speaks about this aspect also in a negative manner, in the sense, you see, here he says that because we, okay, you read it, somebody, Madhav, you want to read?
Madhu wants to read.
Okay. Madhav, please go ahead.
Because we
Wait, Madhav, 1 second, I'll increase the font. Yeah.
because
Yes.
because we do not know that there is a complete arrangement in nature from our maintenance. We make efforts to utilize the resources of nature to create a so-called complete life of sense enjoyment, because the living entity cannot enjoy the life of the senses without being devoted with the complete whole. The misleading life of sense enjoyment is illusion.
Thank you. Wonderful. So, you see, sense gratification is illusory completeness. That's basically Prabhupada's point over here. How sense gratification is illusory completeness. When we take up to spiritual life, that is actual realizing the completeness of material life. And if we don't take it, we just want to use this specific human body, wonderful human body, to just improve our eating, sleeping, mating, defending, that is called illusory completeness, right? You know, you see, the entire effort of materialistic civilization is to utilize this developed brain for the purpose of what? To improve eating, sleeping, mating, defending. That's all. That's what they want to do. See, all the technological advancement, what it is? To improve eating, sleeping and mating. That is technological advancement. जो भी आप बात कीजिए टेक्नोलॉजी की, ये it revolves around these three things. And then, you know, you take a nation also, even developed nations. So, almost 50%, or depending on nations, they have proven in statistics that two fields take most of the revenue of a country. One is the warfare machinery, and another is the consumers industry. So consumer industry is eating, sleeping, mating, and warfare is defending. Khatam khel. That's it. That's what they're utilizing the entire industry actually. So very rarely you will find that the effort is being made for the purpose of, creating the culture of God consciousness and all that. Of course, in some countries where that particular support is also given, but compared to the amount of revenue which is spent for consumerism industry and also for warfare, what is the amount that they spend for these purposes? Hardly, it's negligible amount. This is how it is. So you can see they are properly focused on eating, sleeping, mating and defending. You may give polished names for that purpose, schemes, this, that and all, but that's what it is. So Prabhupada says, if you utilize developed human form of life for something which it is not meant for, then you will suffer. Then suffering will come. Like if I gave you Mercedes Benz, or talk about any best to cars, Rolls Royce, and you say Rolls Royce, oh I got Rolls Royce, चलो अच्छा है, मेरे घर में बहुत कचरा पड़ा था, थोड़ा कचरा निकालता हूँ Rolls Royce में. One of the Indian kings, he indeed used Rolls Royce. Right, Jai Singh, he used Rolls Royce to carry the garbage. But anyway, my point is, see, a car like Rolls Royce or a car like Mercedes Benz, if you want to use it for plowing your field, or if you want to use for taking out all the garbage, is it, I mean, you can still use it, but is it accomplishing its purpose? लोग भी बोलेंगे अरे क्या पागल आदमी है ये, मर्सिडीज से क्या कर रहा है, कचरा जमा कर रहा है. So same way you have this developed human form of life, or that has been completely used for only improving eating, sleeping, mating, depending. So what a gross misuse of that human form of life. It may pass on in the name of research, technology, advancement, but if you see at the fundamental root of that, what are we doing with the quality of life? Do we want to just improve the facility aspect? Who is going to address about, okay, with all this facility, what do you do? Isn't it? That aspect is important, that has to be. So, we are not against technology, science or anything. We are against atheistic technology, science and all that. See, we are ourselves using technology, right? This mic, devotees did not invent this. Who invented this? The outsiders, non-devotees. But we are using it. So everything can be used in Krishna's service. We are not against that. But the point is that usually people, they want to pursue science, technology and forget God. In fact, some of them, they are very envious of God, science or like that. Sometimes they just want to criticize or say that God doesn't exist and all that. And because they are big scientists or big technologists, so people have faith in them this way. So Prabhupada was also never against scientists in any way. Prabhupada appreciated people like Einstein or people like Newton also. Einstein also would say that the subtlest thing in my life, the subtlest thing in the whole universe is God, he would say. That's the subtle, sukshma, sabse sukshma cheez Bhagwan. He would say that. And Newton was also very popular. Kelvin was a great scientist who believed in God and glorified God. So these are actually scientists, who are glorifying the Supreme Lord. So sense gratification is illusory completeness. So point of Prabhupada is, you have human form of life, use it for the real purpose that it is meant for. If you use it for the wrong purpose, then you will suffer, just as somebody is using Mercedes Benz for carrying the garbage. So it's a gross misuse or underuse of that particular aspect. And then finally he comes to this point that only devotional service will give you this complete feeling. So please read this last one. The completeness. Yeah.
The completeness of human can be realized only when one engages in service of the complete whole. All service in this world, whether social, political, communal, international or even interplanetary, will remain incomplete until they are doubted with the complete whole.
So the completeness of human life can be realized only when one engages in the service of the complete whole. You understand? Till that point, we will always feel some sort of incompleteness. Even if one has accomplished everything in life, one will feel some sort of incompleteness. But once we engage in the service of the Lord, then that will give the lasting satisfaction, right? Of course, you see, even in order to understand that I am lacking something in life, it needs some amount of piety. It also needs some amount of fortune. आप बोलोगे कि प्रभु जी कितने सारे लोग तो जी रहे हैं, उनको लगता नहीं है कि हमारी लाइफ में कुछ कमी है कि नहीं? So even to get this feeling that one has everything in life, money, power, prestige, and still if one has this feeling that still I am not satisfied, so that kind of consciousness actually comes by a fortune. It's not that easy. So one has to have that punya, piety, or at least he should come in association of some devotee. then also we see that that kind of feeling may rise. If ignorance is there, then one continues to think that I am very happy. Where ignorance is bliss, it is said it's folly to be wise. Ignorance bliss hai. अज्ञान में सब कुछ बढ़िया है, like that. Only when somebody comes and gives that knowledge, or you can say pinches us with that knowledge, then one may start thinking, yes, these are the truths of life. Why did I not inquire about these things? So that's the point. Till the time we come to devotional service, the lasting satisfaction won't come. So even in our own life, we have to see this, that unless and until we serve Vaishnavas selflessly, we will not experience the lasting satisfaction. Other things in life, they will give us some happiness. You get great money, you get great power, or we have good progeny. They will give some happiness, which is fine, which is needed in the material world. But if one wants the lasting satisfaction, then that will come only by this selfless service, by keeping Krishna in the center. So for that, Prabhupada uses this doutel word. Anybody knows what is this doutel? Doutel. Prabhupada uses this word.
It is basically the fit or cause to fit together easily and conveniently.
Correct.
Conveniently.
Yeah, very nice. You understand that word. There is something called as a doutel joint. Doutel joint. You have seen what is a doutel joint? Prabhupada uses this term, and it is a very, sometimes people feel like there is this bird called dove and it has a tail. So has it got something to do that? No. See, there is doutel joint. Prabhupada uses sometimes very peculiar. You see this? So when they come together, they fit together. So this is Lord, this is living entity. When we fit together, that's called doutel, like that. So you see, it's a very perfect fixture, no? You know, it's a fixture where we see very perfectly they are coming together and aligning like that. So that is called dovetailing. We dovetail with Lord's desire, we dovetail with the desire of the Vaishnavas, this way. And then that's a very perfect bond, very perfect stability is there. That's called dovetail, like that. So Prabhupada uses that term many times. So that's basically about the invocation aspect. So even when you talk about Mother Kunti, when we see that Mother Kunti also prays about this aspect, that actually the real happiness in the life, or the real purpose of Krishna in coming in the material world, is that he wants to bless us with the devotional service. That's the real purpose. You know, all other benedictions given by the Lord, they are going to satisfy up to certain extent, but the real purpose why Lord comes in the material world and offers, what is his highest benediction? When will we say that, well, Lord has been really truly merciful on someone? What is that? What is the true mercy of the Lord? Yes. Is it great wealth, great fame? What it is?
When he gives his bhakti,
service. Exactly. When he gives his bhakti, his service, this whole process of bhakti, in which we get the association of Vaishnavas, in which we perform Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, and everything, this way. So we want to experience completeness, then that completeness is experienced only by service, and service of the devotees, service of the Supreme Lord. By keeping Lord in center, we experience that service, we experience that completeness. So even if material world may throw a lot of incompatibilities, but because now we understand the purpose, so then we know that this is perfect. This is perfect arrangement. When Krishna gives happiness in our life, we feel, my Lord, he is encouraging me. He is saying, don't worry, you are performing bhakti, everything will be taken care. And when he sees suffering, then we understand that he is teaching me a lesson. He is saying, don't be proud. Don't think you are very great. I am the controller. You are not the controller. So whether happiness or distress, a devotee, his Krishna consciousness, it gets nourished only. He becomes more serious about bhakti. Usually in outside world, when they get happiness, सुख में भूल जाते हैं सब कुछ, दुख में याद आते हैं भगवान, है कि नहीं? What is that? सुख में भजे ना कोई, right? So सुख है तो फिर भूल जाते हैं सब कुछ, दुख है तो फिर याद आते हैं भगवान बचा लो बचा लो. जैसे ही बचा लेते हैं ये गायब, महात्मा हो गया. That's it. But that's not how a devotee is. When he gets happiness, his gratitude, his worship increases. Oh, this is so merciful, Krishna. Actually, I didn't deserve so much, but he gave. So it happens also in everyone's life, right? We all experience that in life, that with sometimes Krishna is so merciful that with minimal effort, he would give so much. Because we are giving time for him and his devotees. So sometimes he, like I remember when I used to work in company, and then we had a lot of service and all that. And then, I would not be able to do too much extending in company and all. IT job, very demanding like that. So I used to do my own part. Of course, I was good in work, like that. But then for 3 consecutive years, I won the Best Employee Award. And people used to wonder why this fellow gets it, because he comes on time, leaves before time. That was kind of thing. So, like I used to wonder that, you are trying to sacrifice something little bit for Krishna and his devotees and all, and then, everything is taken care in a way. Of course, I am not saying that Krishna will act like this with everyone and with everyone all the time he will act like this. No, he has his own ways. But we all can experience in life that after taking to devotional service, we oftentimes actually don't expect something, a huge success, but Krishna offers. Okay, you are doing so much for my devotees, you are taking care of so many wonderful devotees, so, here, I will help you, I will bless you. And that is yoga kshemam vahamyaham, in this way. And then sometimes he sends the suffering also. Because then, he is reminding us that are we becoming, see, when Krishna sends suffering, it is like a reminder, are we offending devotees? Am I becoming proud? Am I thinking that I am very great? I am the accomplished preacher. All these devotees, they are because of my mercy. Haribol. So Krishna says, I will give you mercy. Wait, I'll give you some special mercy in this manner. So, Sukha or Dukkha in a devotee's life, it's complete arrangement of Krishna. We have to have this conviction. We may not understand it at that point. और ज़रूरत भी नहीं है understand करने की. Like if you get some disease like dengue or malaria, would you go around searching? नहीं, first you tell me which mosquito bit me. नहीं, प्रभुजी, first you take treatment. नहीं, treatment छोड़ो, पहले मेरे को कौन सा मच्छर काटा, मुझे दिखाओ, तब तक मैं बोलूँगा. अरे प्रभु, मच्छर छोड़ो, you take the treatment. Do we go around like that, searching for the cause of which mosquito bit me and I got the disease? What is the first thing that we do? We start treatment. I have to get treated. And I am saying you may never find that mosquito in life, right? But the point is, you take the treatment, you get cured. So similarly, हम लोग लाइफ में ना ये ऐसे सोचते बैठना नहीं चाहिए, ये मेरे जीवन में क्यों हो रहा है, क्यों हो रहा है बेटा ऐसा मैंने क्या किया था, ऐसा क्या किया था, कुछ नहीं किया था, भगवान आपको दे रहे हैं. He is your well-wisher, so he is giving. Sometimes he may give from karmic account, sometimes he may give on his own. Even if it is not in your karma, he will give because you are becoming too proud, so he may give it, and then you become humble devotee. I am also struggling in that way. So that's Krishna's reciprocation. It's a complete arrangement, provided we understand that purpose, which is of completeness. So that's the message of this verse. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Haribol. All right, so we take a break for 5 minutes. Okay. That completes the discussion. So now we begin with mantra 1. Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Yes.
Here is everything.
I will ask to
The thought system is universal. Inconceivable. Sound system. In this yatra, first day, all anticipating the sound system. So it works. That's how it is. Backups. That's how it is. Go. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Whether you have to put little bit up. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. It's okay? Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, Hare Krishna, please settle. Okay. So here is mantra 1 now. Huh? So together. त्यक्तेन भुञ्जीहा मागृधा कस्य स्विद्धनम्. Okay. Translation. Who wants to read? Please. Anyone? Translation. Anyone from Mataji's can read.
Everything animate or inanimate that is within the universe is controlled and owned by the Lord. One should therefore accept only those things necessary for himself, which are set aside as his quota, and one should not accept other things, knowing well to know or to whom they belong.
So now this is the beginning of the first section of Shri Ishopanishad. And what is this section stand for? Mantra 1 to 3, Ishavasya principle. Ishavasya. Based on this verse only, the Upanishad is known as Ishopanishad. Because what's the first word of the verse? Isha. Ishavasyam. So that's why Ishopanishad. As such, the word Upanishad, what does it mean? Upanishad. So, I told you yesterday. That's how you know. Upanishad. You see, this word Upanishad, it can be T or D also. D, Upanishad or Upanishad, both are fine. So, it is Upa plus Nishad. Upa means near, samipe. Nishad means brings. Nishat, nishidati itin. So, upa samipe nishidati. That which brings near, that which brings the jiva, the living entity, near to whom? The Lord, Isha. So, that which brings living entity, LE stands for living entity, near to the Lord. All right. So that is Upanishad. Another meaning of Upanishad is that Upanishad is that knowledge which is ni means certainty. Certainty. निश्चित रूप से आपको पता है, नी निश्चित, certainty. And shat means that which destroys. That which destroys. So the knowledge that with certainty destroys the bondage and brings us near to the Lord, that is called Upanishad. That with certainty enjoys the, not enjoys, that with certainty destroys the bondage, like that. So Ni stands for that certainty and Shat stands for that destruction. So destruction of the bondage, and Upa and then near, that meaning is same. Near, it brings you near to the Lord. So that is Upanishad, this way. So this is the first section of this Upanishad. Verses 1 to 3, Ishavasya principle, proprietorship and the laws of God. Who is the proprietor of this world? Who is the proprietor? Krishna. That is told in the first verse. Second verse tells, if you live as per this principle, what is the benefit? Third verse tells, if you don't live as per this principle, what is the problem? बस हो गया पहले तीन मंत्रा का, this is the topic. Yeah, I'll repeat. Yes. So first verse, Ishavasya principle means who is the proprietor? in this world. That is first verse. All right? Who is the proprietor? Second verse is, once you understand who is the proprietor, what is the benefit of living life like that? So benefit, if you live like that, what's the benefit? And what is the third verse? If you don't live with that principle, what is the loss? Or what is the result? This is basically the first three verses. Like that.
What is the third one?
Third one is, what is the loss if you don't live with that principle? फिलॉसफी के लैंग्वेज में इसको अन्वय और व्यतिरेक बोलते हैं. अन्वय एंड व्यतिरेक. अन्वय मतलब what is the benefit, व्यतिरेक means what is the loss. Ulta. This way. So that's how this first section is. Very simple. So you see, this is the mantra one. Ishavasyam idam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat. Whatever you see in this world, inanimate or animate, it is what? It is ईशावास्यम. ईश के द्वारा, ईश्वर के द्वारा वो नियंत्रित है. आवास्यम का अर्थ होता है नियंत्रित है, या फिर आवास्यम का अर्थ ये भी होता है कि सर्वत्र ईश्वर है. तो चूंकि वो सर्वत्र है, वो उसको नियंत्रित भी कर रहे हैं. दैट इज ईशावास्यम. भगवान जो है सर्वत्र है, एंड ही इज कंट्रोलिंग एवरीथिंग. सो बिकॉज एवरीथिंग बिलोंग्स टू हिम, सो देन व्हाट इज फॉर मी? वन में आस्क, राइट? सब तो भगवान का है, फिर मेरे को क्या मिलेगा? तो आपको कोटा मिलेगा. आपका, यू टेक योर कोटा एंड यू बी हैप्पी विद दैट कोटा. Quota, you know the word quota, right?
Share.
So share, your quota. Share is also something which shows like you are a partner with that person. You know, quota is not that actually. Quota is he is giving you something. You take it. He is giving you for your service that thing. So you can take it. That's your quota over there.
But in this case, why would someone ask?
Why would someone ask?
Because if he doesn't have the base of the background,
Yeah.
he will not ask it. But someone who's already having the base of the background with the first shloka itself,
Correct.
then these questions would not arise in his mind.
Yeah. See, the point is, when we talk about the aspect of, the first verse, which as you said, it's talking about the whole complete aspect that way. So, how typically the Shastra will progress is, then Prabhu, it's like first certain idea is spoken, on the basis of that certain idea is spoken, then more emphatically, and then more emphatically. Now, if you understand first verse properly, as such first three verses, all the themes are covered in that, isn't it, in one way? But still, the Shastra will speak in a way that, okay, you take a specific topic. Now, in this verse, the topic of specific, the quota topic is important here. So, although first verse we discussed that everything is complete, but now if I say that, okay, so in the material world, what is my quota? That's an interesting discussion. Quota kya hota hai, right? Somebody may say, well, my quota is that I need all the wealth of the world. ये मेरा कोटा है, बोलो अभी क्या? And somebody else says that no, my quota is that I need all the wealth of the world. जो हो गया झगड़ा शुरू दोनों का. So how to determine what is your quota when we say about quota? This particular aspect. Lord is the proprietor, but the point is तेन त्यक्तेन भुंजिता. आपके लिए जो त्यक्त किया गया है, आपके लिए जो छोड़ा गया है, उतना आप खा लीजिए. The Upanishad is saying. So here the verse is primarily now going to discuss how to see what is our quota. That's the main theme over here. The idea that everything is under proprietorship of the Lord, it is addressed in prior verse already, as you kasyas with dhanam. किसी और का धन जो है उसकी इच्छा मत करो. आपका जो कोटा है उतना ले लो. ऐसे तो अभी अलेक्जेंडर को ये श्लोक बोलते थे, तो वो बोलता था कि मेरा कोटा तो सारी दुनिया है, दे दो मुझे, ऐसे करके. बट इज दैट हाउ the Shastra permits. Is that so? So that's what we are going to discuss now here. So you see the themes in purport. Prabhupada speaks about the various themes. Coming to Prabhupada's purport now. See, first paragraph, he speaks about glory of Vedic knowledge, which we have already seen in introduction. So we'll quickly go through that. How Vedic knowledge is faultless, Shabda Praman and all that. Then in para 2 to 4, he explains how the Lord is the proprietor of everything. He explains that. So while explaining how Lord is proprietor of everything, he also gives how in nature the animals follow their own quota. See, will you see a cow when she is starving that a cow starts eating flesh? ऐसा होता है कभी? कभी नहीं होता ऐसा. Or will you see a tiger, he starts eating grass because the tiger starts starving? नहीं होता. वो अपना कोटा जो है ना, whatever is ordained for them, only that they will take, like that. But human beings, they can do, lot of gafla with the quota, right? They can have greed, and because of greed, they act in a way which is not proper. So Prabhupada speaks about all this, how animals follow the aspect of quota in nature. He also speaks that how in our human existence we should follow that aspect of quota. How we should have the quota in human diet also. Like humans, what are they supposed to eat? What is their quota? So they can eat, milk, they can have milk or grains, vegetables, all of that. They're not supposed to eat the animals. They're not supposed to eat the animals. That's not their quota actually. Even biologically, humans are not meant for eating the non-vegetarian stuff. There is extensive analysis on that. Our intestinal length is much higher, 12 times compared to the carnivores. So carnivores, because they eat flesh, quickly it comes out of the intestine and comes out as a feces. But for us, meaning humans, if they take meat, the intestinal length is so large that the meat, while going through that, creates a lot of diseases. So biological structure also, humans don't have canine teeth, but they have this short canine teeth. Humans can't digest raw meat. If they were supposed to be non-vegetarian, then you feed raw meat. वो देखा है क्या टाइगर लोग कुकिंग कर रहे मीट को लेके, अब भून रहे सब, like that. You don't see that, right? They eat raw meat. But humans can they eat raw meat? They can't eat. They're not meant for it. Our saliva is alkaline saliva. The carnivores have acidic saliva. So you can talk about, all science has done so much of research that our humans are not meant for non-vegetarian stuff. Molar teeth and all those aspects that way. Yes. But still, the tongue is the problem. Your tongue bahut, right? People, they can't stay without it, like that. And then for that, they will come up with fantastic justification. If you don't eat chicken, the world will be full of chicken, they say. Sab jagah chicken, chicken, chicken dikhai dega. So how will you live? These are fantastic, fantastic ideas actually. This is not true at all. Protein based, and you talk about protein, the content of protein in soya bean or some of the dry fruits and all. Mataji is dietitian. She is the perfect authority on this field, right? So it is very, very high. It's actually an illusion created by the meat industry that you must need this because it's a $1 billion industry. So you create that. You create that sort of illusion like that. See, in some places where we may see that, okay, not much food can be grown. So Prabhupada said, okay, in such cases we may allow some lower animals to be eaten also. That's okay. In places especially where you can't grow much food and all that. But especially Prabhupada was very much against something like cow killing or rampant killing of any animal for that matter. It is one thing that you have need-based usage or consumption of animals, and it is another thing to make it into an industry where huge industry of slaughterhouses and all that. It's an organized killing, properly. So that shows disregard for the life, isn't it? So anyway, I went into that. We'll talk about that when we come to that purport. And finally, Prabhupada says, so conclusion is, we'll live according to Ishavasya principle. Live and let live. Prabhupada was once asked by a reporter, Swamiji, what do you think about this philosophy, survival of the fittest? आपने सुना है ये term? Survival of the fittest. Yeah? This came from Darwin. Darwin ने बोला था ये, survival of the fittest. He said it's a jungle law. So Hitler picked up this idea and he said, we are the fittest, so we will survive. The weakers have to die. So he had picked up this idea of Darwin, and then he wrought so much havoc, right, because of this. So Prabhupada was asked, survival of the fittest. Swamiji, what do you think about survival of the fittest? Prabhupada said, in the material world, even the fittest don't survive. That was Prabhupada's reply. In the material world, even the fittest don't survive. Nobody survives in material world. Even the fittest, after some time, they are gone. और एक बार प्रभुपाद जी को पूछा था, survival of the fittest. So Prabhupada said, our philosophy is, the fittest will help the weaker to survive. Haribo. Just see how Prabhupada is giving a profound. The fittest will not cause destruction of the weaker, like Hitler did. The fittest will help the weaker to survive. This is Vaishnava philosophy, this way. So, that's why living according to Ishavasya principle, that's the conclusion over there. So you see, here, yes bro.
So in respect of quota, can we assume that even the acquiring wealth, cheating, that is also
beyond quota? Yeah, exactly. Now we are coming to that discussion. What is quota is important discussion, like that. So you see, what's the first paragraph's theme? Glory of Vedic knowledge. So these ideas, you can see. Vedic knowledge is infallible because it comes down through perfect disciplic succession. You know this, right? The words spoken by the Lord are called apaurushaya. We discussed already this thing. Why are they called apaurushaya? Because
they are beyond 4 defects.
They are beyond 4 defects and they don't come from human origin. They are not delivered by any mundane person. And then Prabhupada speaks about 4 defects. We have already discussed this. How the Lord is proprietor of everything. Now he begins that theme. Ishavasyam. Kya arth hai iska? Why is Lord said to be the proprietor of everything? You see. Both the living entities and inanimate objects are controlled by laws of nature and ultimately by the Lord's potency. Lord is proprietor, so he controls material energy also and Jiva Shakti also, spiritual energy also. So you see, he explains, the Lord's proprietorship over everything within the universe is confirmed in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Bhumirapo analo vayu khammano buddhirevacha ahankariti yamme bhinna prakriti rashtada apareyam mitastvanyam prakritim vidhi me param jiva bhutam mahabaho yayedam dharyate jagat. So Krishna, there he tells that he is the one who possesses the energy of material world, he possesses the energy called spiritual world and also the energy called the living entities. Typically there are 3 energies of the Lord which are very important categories. What are they? Anyone knows? 3 energies of the Lord?
Internal energy, marginal energy and external energy.
Exactly. Internal energy, marginal energy and external energy. आप कुछ कहना चाहते? हाँ, very nice. जो आपने उसका हिंदी नहीं संस्कृत अनुवाद किया. What he said, yes, सही है. बहिरंगा is external energy, अंतरंगा is internal energy, तटस्था is marginal energy, like that. So perfect. So all these energies are owned by the Lord. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita very clearly, these are all possessed by the Lord, right? Land, water, everything. People come and go, right? Some land, somebody says, I am the owner. तो वो कितने कुछ 50 साल ओनर रहता है, फिर then somebody else comes and becomes the owner. फिर हो सकता है कि कोई नया देश ही उसका ओनर बन जाए. फिर कुछ समय बाद वो देश भी गायब हो जाता है, पानी ओनर बन जाता है सब जगह. So whom does the land belong? The land belongs to the Supreme Lord. Like that. He is actually the proprietor. He is allowing the usage of that because he is given in the material world. But who can claim actually? Nobody can claim the ownership, right? There were great kings like Alexander. At a mere age of 26 years, he was like world conqueror. But when he was living, what did he say? From my coffin, the hand should come out like this. ऐसा. तो फिर all the generals and all said, my dear king, why do you want like that? Why should the hand come out of coffin? Typically they will put like this. No, he said, I want to show to the whole world that this great Alexander, when he is dying, he is going empty-handed. He can't carry anything with him. Although I conquered such a great land, I cannot carry anything this way. So the land's resources, they stay there. People only come and quarrel over, I belong, this belongs to me, and then they go away after some time, this way. But actually, all the resources belong to the Supreme Lord, this way. The whole effort of life goes in only procuring the resources. Leo Tolstoy, one of the very popular authors, he tells the story of one Pahom in his book. How much land a man needs. That's the very wonderful story. So there was this Pahom, he received a benediction when he went to a village that, whatever land you can run, all that land will be yours. But provided before sunset you should come back to the starting point. सूर्यास्त तक आप दौड़ते रहो, लेकिन सूर्यास्त के पहले आपने वापस आना है उस जगह पे. जितनी लैंड आपने कवर की सब आपको मिलेगी, सब आपकी. So Pahom became like, wow, this is wonderful. Now I am going to get so much land. So he started running, and he came, noon time. So he thought, I have covered a lot of land. I can't even see the starting point. I should go back now. But he said, no, it's just noon. I can run some more. I'll get huge land. I can have great wealth. So he ran again up to 3 o'clock. And then he said, now I should go back. Like that. But then he said, why? This is a golden opportunity, once in a lifetime. So let me run ahead. So he ran ahead. It was 5 o'clock now. So now he should go back. So he realized, yes, it's 5 o'clock. I should run back. So now he has to cover this much distance. So started running very fast. Because if you don't reach the starting point, no use. And he started running, and he's seeing that the sun is setting slowly. So he ran. Then finally he started seeing that point where he began. He thought, this will be now accomplishment of all my dream. This much land is mine. So he ran. And when he reached that starting point, so much was he exhausted that he fell down and dropped dead. So Tolstoy is telling, this is the story of human life. Right? A person, he wants to procure resources, money, and everybody works hard. पैसा और पैसा मिले. और वो सब पैसा मिलने के बाद, when he thinks that he will enjoy, all this money he will utilize now, I will have lot of joy. He realizes that he is 75 years old. Finished. Life is gone now. Now you can't utilize that money for something worthwhile. Probably his children may utilize, or we don't know. They will squander, all the money this way. So in our life also, actually, we have to see that it's said, begin with the end in mind. Begin with the end in mind. Because how much is enough? How much is much and how less is less? Right? We never understand this. When we begin our life's goals also, we accomplish a certain level, and by that time now standard of living has gone to such a level that we want to accomplish something further. Then we reach there, we want to accomplish even something further. So the point is, the energy of the life on aspects like spiritual life, or service of Vaishnavas, reading Shastra, Shravanam, Kirtanam and all that. That aspect we have to take care very, very nicely. For that, whatever is needed, we can accomplish in life. Bhakti process is not against earning great wealth or name, fame, prestige in the world. No. Bhakti does not kill ambition. Bhakti says that for the ambition, begin with the end with mind. Begin with the end. Otherwise, ambition can go on and on, right? Right? Prabhupada was at one place, and there were these all big billionaires, and they had their cards. They had the visiting cards. So these are billionaires. This happened somewhere in US. So it was asked to one of the billionaires, what is your goal? So then he took his card from that heap of cards and put it on the top, and he said, this is my goal. Even amongst a billionaire, I want to be the topmost billionaire, like that. So you see, this never ends. The material world's dream, it just continues like that. Our Ambarish Prabhu, he is a billionaire, Alfred Ford. So I remember when I was working, so he had come to Mumbai, and Times of India ran a front page news on him, the billionaire Bhakta, Sunday Times, which is like very fondly read all over India. And the front page with a huge photo was the article, the billionaire Bhakta, like that. And there, Ambarish Prabhu was asked, he was asked by the journalist, he said that, people, they want to be billionaires. They work all their life to be billionaires, like that. So you are already there on the other side of the road, meaning you are already a billionaire. Everybody is on this side of the road, and they want to cross and go to the other side, be in that billionaire club or whatever. So you are there on the other side, and how is the feeling? What is the feeling like that? And you can see Alfred Ford, Ambarish Prabhu is a transcendental person. So he said, the feeling is that there is nothing here. He said, there is nothing here. He said, the whole world is running behind it, but I can tell you. And then he spoke about joy of bhakti and all that. He said, so with the joy of bhakti, he said, then there is actually real utilization of the aspect of resources and all that. So Krishna consciousness is not against, you can say, being big in the material world. But Krishna consciousness is about not forgetting the primary goal of our life. So in this whole enterprise of becoming big in the material world, if the main purpose of spiritual life slips away, then that's a great loss, isn't it? Like that Pahom ran and ran and ran and ran, but then he just could not come back. By the time he realized, it was all very late. This way. So that's how. So Lord is proprietor, and as that proprietor, he owns all material resources, spiritual resources, the jivas, the spiritual energy, everything is under him. So everything is supposed to be in his service. If something belongs to someone, then it should be in his service, isn't it? It's quite natural. If the car belongs to a person, then naturally it should be in his service, that way. So same way with the material world also, this aspect. So first Prabhupada speaks about that aspect of proprietor, how Krishna On the basis of Bhagavad Gita, he says para prakriti, apara prakriti. Material energy is apara, superior energy is para. So you know all these terms. You know para, apara, prakriti. Para means superior energy. Apara means inferior energy. This way. So, Prabhupada gives further example of fire. A fire has heat and light. Right? Fire has heat and light. So, heat and light is considered energy of the fire. So, same way, Krishna is also having his energies. So, fire is compared to whom? Krishna. And heat and light are his energies. So, what are those energies? Heat and light. These are those three energies of the Lord. Living entity, material energy, spiritual energy, this way. And here Prabhupada now brings up the discussion. So, first discussion is example of one's quota in nature. So, please read this. One should accept. Someone read.
One should therefore
Yeah.
accept only those things that are set aside by the Lord as his quota. The cow, for instance, gives milk, but she does not drink that milk. She eats grass and straw, and her milk is designated as food for human beings. Such is the arrangement of the Lord. Thus we should.
Yeah, thank you. Yes. So, Prabhupada begins by talking about how in the nature also this quota thing is accepted. Quota, all the animals also, they take only what is their quota. Like cow will never eat flesh. Tiger will never eat grass. Cow, she gives milk for her calf, but then she gives much more milk than the calf can handle. So then that milk is meant for whom? That is meant for the human beings. Actually, a cow gives much more milk than a calf can drink or calf needs. In fact, if that milk remains in her body, then she will get diseases. This is researched, properly done like that. So that's why the idea that we should not drink cow's milk is not properly founded. It's not a proper idea. Right? Vegans have that idea, I think. Vegans say that you should not drink cow's milk. But actually, if we don't drink cow's milk, as I said, that the milk that she produces, it's not that it is all meant for calf. She produces abundant milk that is beyond the capacity of the calf. Of course, the another extreme is where they want to put the machines on the udders of the cow, and they want to pull that milk so terribly that sometimes after the milk is over, the blood starts coming out from the udders. It is so horrible, right? So that Prabhupada was also very much against that thing, putting that sort of machines and all that, and practically squeezing, trying to squeeze as if it is some petrol tank or something, right? So that's not good. So the aspect over here that is being highlighted is how in the nature the animals also follow their quota. So it's also meant for humans actually. Prabhupada brings up the discussion now also for the resources. You see, please read this. Take for example this para. Anyone? You want to read? Yes, please read.
Take for example, a dwelling which is made of earth, wood, stone, iron, cement, and so many other material things. If we think in terms of Sri Ishopanishads, we must know that we cannot produce any of these building materials ourselves. We can simply bring them together and transform them into different shapes by our labor.
Yeah. So now coming to all these resources then in the material world also, did we create them? We did not create them, right? They were created by the Supreme Lord. There is one fictional joke. One time a scientist and God, they sat together. And this was a proud scientist. I don't have any personal vengeance against science, otherwise devotees will feel, अरे science वाले को बहुत प्रभुजी ये कर रहे हैं, right? We are against atheistic science, as I said. If they are atheists, then we want to get on their case. So one scientist, he sat with God and then he said, God, what is so glorious about you? Whatever you can do, I can also do. God said, really? Whatever you can do, whatever I can do, you can also do. Yes, yes, he said, our science, technology, everything we can do. So God said, okay, So God, he took some mud, he took some stones and he created a stone structure with mud and all that. So scientist said, oh, it's so easy. I will also do. What is so great? So he immediately took the mud and the stones and God said, no, create your own mud. Create your own stone, create your own water. Can you do that? You can't take my stone, my water, and then say that I'll come. And then scientist was like, okay, I can't create my own stone, I can't create my water. So you take God's resources and then you manipulate it and then you want to compete God. Why don't you create your own material? Can we create oxygen or all these elements on our own? They are there in the nature and we are using it that way. So that's how it is actually. The resources of the Supreme Lord, even if we use them and bring up and manifest something wonderful, we have to know that we did not create this. It is there for us to use and then we have built something on that. And that particular creation also may not be that perfect. Isn't it? It may be some sort of very, very defective construction of that sort of thing, right? Like our buildings or like that, for how much, what is the life of those buildings? They may survive for 40 years, 50 years, finished. After that, it's gone. That doesn't happen with the earth, right? His creation, that goes on for so much, billions of years. In fact, it goes on for, as per Vedic life, it goes on for one day of Brahma, right? In the partial pralaya, the earth gets destroyed for the first time. After one day of Brahma gets over. So, can you create a building which can which can last for that much time? You can't. So, you are taking God's resources, you are constructing something, and then we want to say that, oh, we are better than God, or like that. Right? Prabhupada would talk about many other aspects also. We create some small bulb or tubes, light sources, wonderful. Can you create sun? और सूरज बना दो भाई तुम, फिर मान लेंगे. सागर बना दो, आपने सागर बना दिया, नहीं, सागर से पानी बनाने के लिए जान जा रही है कि नहीं? That way. So anybody who is a wise man actually can understand that the nature, what it has provided us, God, what is been provided to us, it is beyond human calculation or human ability to imitate. So that's the point. So talking about the quota, further Prabhupada speaks now. Please read this. The human race.
The human race should take the Vedic wisdom of Sri Ishopanishad and not quarrel over material possessions. One must be satisfied with whatever privileges are given to him by the mercy of the Lord. There can be no peace if the communists or capitalists or any other party claims proprietorship over the resources of nature, which are entirely the property of the Lord. The capitalists cannot curb the communists simply by political maneuvering, nor can the communists defeat the capitalists simply by fighting for stolen bread. If they do not recognize the proprietorship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, all the property they claim to be their own is stolen. Consequently, they will be liable to punishment by the laws of nature.
Yeah, so Prabhupada now bringing up the discussion from capitalists and communists, he also talks about the false proprietorship. What do the communists say? All the resources belong to Supreme Lord. No, they belong to state. That is communism. So he is bringing up that discussion now. हम तो यहाँ कह रहे हैं ईशावास्यम. कम्युनिस्ट क्या कहता है? Rajyavasyam or whatever, state vasyam, all the resources belong to the state. So communists is, state owns all the resources and everybody will get their quota, whatever is the quota. So this was their ideology, Karl Marx, Friedrich Engels. But what happened where actually communism was ruling, that although they said that everybody will get equal proportion of all the resources and all that, but see, categories you cannot avoid only. What they did, the administrators, they were enjoying the life very nicely, and laborers became, people who did not get proper resources, much salaries and all that. And communists would say that all men are equal. That was their slogan. All humans are equal. All men are equal. So everybody has equal right over the resources, they said. So then there was one author called George Orwell, very famous author. He said communism is like this. All men are equal, but some men are more equal than others. You understand this phrase, what it means? सारे समान है, लेकिन उसमें भी कुछ जो है थोड़े ज़्यादा समान है. मतलब you create some hierarchy there also. So even in Russia and all, we see that communism, how this idea is a very fantastic idea, to think that, talk about that equality when you don't base that equality on the basis of Lord being the proprietor, like that. All men are equal. Well, why should be like that, right? See, if in a class you imagine all students are there, अच्छा पढ़ने वाला भी है, फालतू कुछ पढ़ता नहीं, ऐसा भी है, और आप बोलोगे एग्जाम लेंगे, सबको सेम मार्क्स मिलेंगे. Is it a good philosophy? Why like that? सबको सेम मार्क्स मिलेंगे. आप बहुत अच्छा तेज पढ़ने वाले हो, आपको भी वही मार्क्स, और दूसरा कोई पढ़ता नहीं है, एकदम बेकार है, खेलता है दिन भर, उसको भी सेम मार्क्स. So this is not good, no? One who works hard, they should get that particular reward. One who does not work hard should not get that reward. So this whole idea of communism fell apart, because they only promised all men are equal, but then they saw those who were ruling, they were enjoying all the resources. Laborers remain laborers life after life, not life after life, year after year. They live in labor. So communism fell like that, fell apart. So Prabhupada is telling here that you have to recognize that finally the proprietor is Supreme Lord. It's not even state. It's not us. If we think that individual is the proprietor, that's capitalism. If you think that state is the proprietor, that is communism. But if you think that the Lord is proprietor, then that is Vaishnavism. Like that. So that's the difference between these three, this way. So coming to the last part, you see Prabhupada continues this aspect of how, the example of quota. He speaks about now quota in terms of even this, that some are vegetarian and they continue to remain vegetarian. Some animals are carnivorous, they continue to remain carnivorous. None of them transgress the laws of nature which have been ordained by the will of the Lord. But only humans transgress those laws. The animals also don't transgress. So let's complete this discussion. I'm ending now. So when we say what is my quota, what is the quota that I should live or I should get, I should live by? So in order to understand one's quota, one has to be educated in the aspect of varnashrama. Only if you have education, your idea of quota will be appropriate. Otherwise, one may think that मेरा कोटा क्या है, मुझे पूरी दुनिया का wealth चाहिए. One may think that. But if one is trained in spiritual life, if one is trained in the aspect of, okay, how should a grahastha lead his life? How should a brahmachari lead his life? How a sannyasi should live his life? How and how much need a brahmana has, a kshatriya has. If that education is done, then your understanding of quota will be very clear, right? Like a brahmana needs minimum resources for his subsistence. Priorly, brahmanas never worked for anyone. They only served, and whatever dakshina you got, they will sustain on that. So a Brahmana's quota is different than a Kshatriya's quota. For a Kshatriya who is a king, should he have a huge army or not?
Yes.
He should have. Should he have great land to rule or not?
Yes.
Should he have a queen or not? He has to have a queen. राजा कैसा हुआ? रानी ही नहीं है उसकी. राजा ब्रह्मचारी राजा नहीं होता कोई. There is nothing like that. If somebody is going to be a king, before that he has to get married. Then only he can be a king. So now you see, king's quota is he should have queen or queens. He should have a huge palace. He should have a great chariot. That's a king. नहीं तो किंग कैसा है, उसका पैलेस ही नहीं, भिखारी की तरह घूम रहा है. कैसा राजा है वो? लोग बोलेंगे राजा है कि रंक है, कौन है ये? ऐसे. A king should have that commanding position, right? You know, if he commands, yes, this should be done, it will be done. नहीं तो वो बोल रहा है, अरे कर दो रे भाई, कर दो. ऐसा तो वो किंग है कि कौन है? वो भिखारी है वो बेचारा. So king's quota is different. Brahmana's quota is different. Vaishya's quota is different. And a Shudra's quota is different. A Shudra, if he was taken care by giving good food, clothing, shelter, finished. उसको और ज़्यादा कुछ देना नहीं होता है. You take good care of it and he will do his service first class. So, Vedic Varnashrama, it gave that training of first of all, what is your Varna and Ashrama. फिर उसको कोटा के बारे में confusion नहीं होता था कि मेरा क्या कोटा है. So when a Brahmana sees Kshatriya and he has such a great life, he has so much wealth and he's sitting on a golden simhasan, he is not going to feel, Kash, मुझे भी मिलता था. So all these great Brahmanas would visit kings, right? And would they feel like विश्वामित्र दशरथ महाराज के पास गए तो उनको लगा क्या, यार अपना भी ऐसा ही होना चाहिए था, कहाँ आ गए इधर? ऐसे नहीं है ना. You know, in fact, Dashrath Maharaj is falling at his feet. And Dashrath Maharaj is saying, actually, you are Maharaj. We are not Maharaj. And that's why sannyasis are known as Maharaj. Because at their feet, the Maharajas also fall. Right? This way. So everybody has their quota, but for that you need an education. The problem with material world in today's day and time is, because there is no that sort of education. So everybody runs behind the same goal. IIT, everybody is running behind IIT. वो बेचारे को कभी बुक खोलने का मन नहीं करता, बट वो भी दौड़ रहा है IIT के पीछे. वो 7 जन्म भी जेई प्रिपेयर करेगा, उसकी नहीं निकलने वाली, बट ही इज प्रिपेयरिंग. Why? Because whole world IIT. At least I am telling in India, this is the scenario. You know, so you are making completely unidimensional idea of success. आप देख ही नहीं रहे हो कि उसका क्या गुण कर्म है, उसके हिसाब से उसको फ्लरिश होने दो. Maybe he is not meant for that kind of studies, but in some other aspect the person may grow like anything. Like, you know, some people have a business acumen, right? तो उसको क्यों लगा रहे हो उधर बेचारा? You give him business, you see he will expand so much this way. So in the material world, because of lack of education, the whole idea is becoming of some sort of unidimensional running, right? Everybody runs behind it only. That becomes the criterion of success. But that's not how we see. So that's why quota, that concept, will only come in picture properly if you have the training. तो वैष्णव हमारे भक्ति में भी ये बताया जाता है, सिखाया जाता है कि देखिए, एज अ गृहस्थ व्हाट यू नीड, यू शुड हैव दैट. अगर गृहस्थ ब्रह्मचारी जैसा रहने लगा तो प्रॉब्लम है, वो मिजरेबल हो जाएगा. और ब्रह्मचारी गृहस्थ जैसा रहने लगा तो वो तो समाज में धिक्कार हो जाएगा उसका कि ये क्या है करके. सन्यासी गृहस्थ जैसा रहने लगा तो लोग बोलेंगे ये क्या है, ये आजकल ऐसा दिखता है, राइट? सन्यासी भी इतना, यू नो, सम सन्यासीज आर बिजनेस एम्पायर क्रिएट कर दिया उन्होंने, लाइक दैट. सिमिलरली इफ गृहस्था लुक स्टेज लाइक अ सन्यासी, तो उसको अच्छा प्रसाद मिलेगा वाइफ से वगैरह, उसके वाइफ एंड चिल्ड्रन एंड रिलेटिव्स, राइट? So the point is, everybody has their role to play. For that, whatever resources they need, that's their quota, and that can be accomplished. Within that also one can see that one is not one does not go into greed. Greed to ek cheez hoti hai, greed can never end. But still, at least one has a clarity that as a grahastha I need these things. Brahmachari has clarity, as a brahmachari I need these things and I don't have to have these things. So then we see that it will be a very sensible understanding of one's life and quota and all that. So that's how. Alright, so Prabhupada is ending here. So Prabhupada says, even in terms of eating and all, it's not that we just understand that we should be vegetarian, but we should be Krishnatarian, Prabhupada said. We are not vegetarian, we are Krishnatarian. We eat prasadam. So, otherwise vegetarian, even the cows and deers are vegetarian, right? Sometimes people say that हम वेजिटेरियन है, वो तो फिर गाय भी वेजिटेरियन है, हिरन भी वेजिटेरियन है, बट वी आर प्रसाद eaters, we are Krishnatarian, we are. So that aspect he is saying that we don't just stop at the level of eating vegetarian food, but we actually eat Krishna Prasad. You see, thus one should not be proud of being a strict vegetarian. Rather, we want to become a devotee who offers everything to Krishna. Therefore, human beings should not become a strict vegetarian, but should also become a devotee of the Lord, offer the Lord all his food and then partake of such prasadam or the mercy of the Lord. So this is what. So finally, that's why we should live as per the Ishavasya principle. We understand our quota, and for that, if you need the finer guidance, then we should take the guidance from appropriate people to understand how far I should work for resources in my life. Otherwise, material life is in such a way, the propaganda is in such a way that we will never be able to come out of it. So this is the point. So Prabhupada says this last point, the root of sin is deliberate disobedience of the laws of nature through disregarding the proprietorship of the Lord. And remember this statement, this is also definition of the sin actually. Deliberate disobedience of the laws of nature through disregarding the proprietorship of the Lord. And this is sin. So by becoming educated in Shastra, we want to overcome the sinful life and we want to lead this life where we understand our quota. Alright. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Okay. Question? You want to ask?